Oh yeah, how are you folks? On a Tuesday, welcome. Patrons, how are you? 833-599-NICK, 833-599-6425 is the phone number, coming to you live.
We'll do it live.
Fuck yeah.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
I want all of you to enjoy your cake. So, enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy.
You know you one crazy motherfucking wop, man.
Yeah, it's been said, my brother.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Great to be with you. And I mean that. Real quick, dates. You can go to nickdip.com to get these, but they're kind of important this week. This Friday night, Central Stage, Yonkers, New York, new club. Have never been there. Be home by 10. Then the next night, this Saturday, February 23rd, Cohoes Hall, Cohoes, New York, taping a 1-hour special. I plan on flooding the market with it. Since I've been doing this for 31 years and have been horrible at marketing myself, I'm going to flood the fucking internet with it, and we're going to light up the world. Saturday, March 2nd, the Brooks Art Center, Bound Brook, New Jersey. Never heard of the town. Friday, March 8th, Wood Theater, Glens Falls, New York. Friday, March 29th, Decatur Civic Center, Decatur, Illinois. The next night, we're looking for a gig. Maybe St. Louis, maybe Indianapolis. We don't know. Friday, April 26th, Steel Stacks, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Friday and Saturday, May 3rd and 4th, the Side Splitters, Tampa, Florida. Friday and Saturday, May 10th and 11th, Governors, Levittown, New York. I don't do many clubs anymore, but Side Splitters in Tampa, Governors in Levittown, they are just they're such great run clubs that I'll do them anytime. Friday, May 31st, Jonathan's in Agunquit, Maine. A lot of my gay friends will be there. Remember, assless chaps is what you have to get in. Saturday, June 1st, Whites of Westport, Mass. Saturday, August 10th, Newtown Theater, Newtown, Pennsylvania. Friday and Saturday, August 16th and 17th, that very humid city they call Philly. I'll be at Helium Comedy Club. Saturday, October 19th, Ridgefield Playhouse. It'll be right when the Red Sox are on their way to another fucking World Series, Ridgefield, Connecticut. Friday, November 15th, Cortland Repertory Theater, Cortland, New York. And then New Year's Eve back at the most beautiful venue in the country, Tarrytown Music Hall, Tarrytown, New York. NickDip.com for your ticket information, 833-599-6425. Don't forget this Cameo.com, guys. It's really fun. If you want a personal video message from me for yourself or to send to someone else via email or text, go to Cameo.com or download the app. Sign up is free. I'm a dirty whore. For a mere $60, I'll tell your boss to kiss his sister's ass, or I'll tell your ex-girlfriend she's got nipples like fucking Joe Frazier. I can even wish your Grammy a happy birthday if that old bitch is still alive. Whatever you want. So go to the site, then search for my name, click Book a Cameo, fill in the info and type in whatever it is you want me to say, and within 48 hours, that message will be delivered with my filthy acid tongue or as sweet as pie, whatever you guys decide. And again, for you folks that watch the show on YouTube, you're saying that you don't know when the show is on. It's free on YouTube every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you subscribe to extra episodes through Patreon, you can view it on YouTube Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. with private link you get. Now, for people who say, I don't get notified, I'm severely retarded by email from YouTube when I'm live, you have to click on that little bell next to the subscribe button or you won't get notified. These are all announcements that are necessary. In case you guys don't know, we've also released all the archives from the first day the show started on July 9th up to January 13th. You can watch them all right here on YouTube, right here. A great friend of mine from the San Francisco area, the area without walls but human feces, waist high. A nice hand for Wayne Newton. Come on, everybody. What is in the news? I'll tell you what's in the motherfucking news. Bernie Sanders enters 2020 presidential race to complete the revolution.
We are alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country.
Touch your hair, Pelosi. It makes her nervous. Her big yeasty
America
infection.
was founded on liberty and independence and not government coercion, domination,
Look at Pelosi's
and
face.
control.
Like she's
We
got
are
a dick in her
born
ass.
free, and we will stay free.
Ah, look at these shitheads. Fucking Bernie looks like he hasn't taken a good dump since the Bolsheviks. What a cheese eater. He jumped into the race today and broke his hip and his knee. Because he's in his late hundreds and he has the bone density of a fucking spider. Together, he says, you and I, first of all, I like the headline. It's going to complete the revolution. Would that be the Trump revolution? Is that what you mean? The right-wing revolution? Because that's what you're spurning on with your silly, silly policies of free tuition for college, Medicare for all that horseshit. And we're only $1 zillion in debt, but good luck with that. I'm very surprised. Jewish fellow, not good with numbers. But yeah, you're going to complete the Trump revolution. We're going to fucking overrun you leftist cum stains in a matter of minutes. He says, together, you and I, 2016 campaign, begin the political revolution. Now it's time to complete that revolution and implement the vision that we fought for. And that vision was for any of my interns working on the campaign to be finger popped in the ladies' room. I did not see it. I did not smell it. I did not hear it. I was busy out making the case. You fucking kids, get off my lawn. A liberal agenda that includes everything from Medicare for all to a $15 minimum wage for retarded people who have to press a button that has a quarter pounder on it. Free college tuition. That works out just terrific. We have some clips of Bernie. The first one, he addresses Donald Trump. And this is why Bernie is a cocksucker, a Marxist, and a filthy, filthy douche.
It is absolutely imperative that Donald Trump be defeated because I think it is unacceptable and un-American.
He combed his hair.
To be frank with you, that we have a president who is a pathological liar, and it gives me no pleasure to say that.
Yeah,
but
it does,
true.
you filthy
We
Brooklyn
have a president
cocksucker.
who is a racist, who is a sexist.
You're a Marxist?
Who is
I'd rather
a
a racist than a
xenophobe.
You're a fucking xenophobe.
Who is doing what no president in our lifetimes has come close to doing,
Is
and
that
that is
right? Trying to divide us. Is that where it cut off? Again. Huh? You jumped the gun, didn't you, Ryan?
No, that was the time code you gave me.
Oh, suck a bag of dicks. Give me a fucking break, will you? I don't fucking... Anyways. He's the first president, Trump, according to Brady, to try to divide us, as opposed to Obama, who had Eric Holder jump in anytime there was an incident with black guys and the cops. They would send the attorney general before the story was even complete and draw a complete conclusion. Yeah, it's the Republicans who traffic in identity politics and have gay versus straight, black versus white. Are you dog-styling me? Are you dog-styling me, Bernie? Do yourself a favor, go back up to Burlington and tap a tree for some sap and rub it around your ass. First president to divide us. You have to be fucking kidding me. You tell me to be quiet? Were you burping? Oh, were you? That's great. 7 ounces of jizz will do that. It'll back up on you during the show. Oh, Nick, that's horrible. Why do you have to go there? Because it bothers people in this country. It bothers me. Now, the second clip of Bernie, he's going to explain his platform that didn't work last time. But it was rigged. I saw Hillary Clinton. I saw her in the men's room. That's right, the men's room. She was standing next to me at the urinal. Her cock was 3 times wider and longer than mine. The thing was rigged. But here's him explaining his platform. Fucking Marxist.
Medicare for all, raising the minimum wage.
Raise my ass, you
to
fucking
$15 an hour. Making public colleges and universities tuition free. All of those ideas, people
We
say,
can't
oh,
afford.
Bernie, they're so radical. They are extreme. The American people just won't accept those ideas. Well, you know what's happened in over 3 years?
What?
All of those ideas and many more are now part of the political.
Again. I'm going to add 5 fucking seconds on. You guys have a different, I'm serious. There's a different, I don't know. Anyways, you know what happened to those ideas? Yeah. A little broad named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has made him more unpopular than you have. Good luck, Democrats. Good luck bringing that shit. People are floating over here on inner tubes on rafts that they built out of Legos because we have a free market capitalist system. That's why. The countries they're coming from usually have the system that you want. So explain that to me, you fuzzy fucking nipple. That was a drink, by the way, in the 80s, the fuzzy nipple. Absolutely delicious. 2 parts brandy, a little Seagram's 7-Up, and some cough syrup. I'm sorry, that was a black girl I dated. That was her favorite drink, the Robitussin. Then we'd do the electric slide. 833-599-6425. If you're a Bernie fan, call in. I want to fucking make you look silly. Then he addresses, this is beautiful. This was kind of a slip on his part. I don't think watch the big reveal here. Go ahead.
The machine has started freezing. It is a blank white screen right now.
The machine is freezing? Well, keep playing with it. God damn it. I actually did my homework. I had some good points to make, Ryan. Keep playing with it. I was told this was going to happen. I was told this by guys who have bigger shows than me on the internet, and they go, you're going to have your fucking problems. Well, what, the Wirecast? Froze? What is it?
The computer we run all the media clips off of is kind of...
It's frozen?
Right now.
Okay, this is some white people doing cocaine in Utah. Keep playing with it. Ask Priscilla upstairs. She knows the. What if we jump to the 4th clip? It's not working. That's all right. Put on Wayne Newton. See if that's working. We can't even go to Wayne Newton.
He's going down on someone right now.
For the love of Christ. He's fucking going down on Ryan. Anyways, I'll go on to say, Bernie said this. He actually said the guy's, healthcare for all, free tuition. And the guy interviewing him said, but the people know that we're in debt and they're going to reject that. And Bernie goes, in a very revealing moment, that's why I need you in the media to help explain it. Go ahead.
The other challenge to your health care plan will be cost.
Nice going.
People will say, my goodness, there's no way everybody's going to get covered. And
John,
some of the estimates that come out.
No, I need you in the media to help us explain the truth.
Oh!
No more out-of-pocket.
That's the truth. I need you in the media because you're a propaganda arm of us leftists to help explain to people. How about a hand for Priscilla, who actually figured that out? Priscilla. I'm guessing. Anybody else in the house I don't know about? Maybe the guy working on my fucking boiler in the other room fixed it. I don't know that. I know a few girls got finger pop, and I'm totally against that. They think I'm a sexist pig. I did write an article back in the day saying when married women are having sex with their husbands, they're fantasizing about being raped by 3 guys at once. You can Google that, and that's how you know I'm a real socialist. Even in my rape fantasies, you have to share the pussy 3 ways. The only one, the candidate I know that wants to redistribute pussy. And then he goes on to talk about, watch his mood change here. Howard Schultz, don't play it yet. Howard Schultz, who the Democrats have their panties in a bunch about. The guy, the CEO of Starbucks. He's also Jewish and from Canarsie, Brooklyn. Grew up in the projects, okay? So watch how comfortable Bernie becomes because it's another Jewish guy. Watch how his demeanor, he actually shows some personality. Very comfortable. Oh, really? He's going to talk about why, Howard Schultz is not viable for the job.
Howard Schultz has now said he would not run as an independent if the Democrats nominate a moderate.
Oh, isn't that nice? Why is Howard Schultz on every television station in this country? Why are you quoting Howard Schultz? Because he's a billionaire.
A billionaire.
Right? There are a lot of people I know personally who work hard for a living and make $40,000, $50,000 a year, who know a lot more about politics than, in all due respect, does Mr. Schultz. But because we have a...
Do you see how Howard Schultz, he's a billionaire. I know a lot of people making $50,000, $60,000 a year that know more about politics. Howard Schultz, and I'm not a big fan. I hate Starbucks. Matter of fact, I had one yesterday for the first time in a couple of years. It was the only coffee place near where Dennis Miller's CBS studio show was. And you know what? I had diarrhea for last time. I told you, I went to fart and shit my pants. And I blame it on the cream or whatever I poured out of that thing that was probably being licked by a homeless guy because it was right in Manhattan. And I had the shits forever. And what?
We leave those things out all day.
What do you work? Are you a barista?
I used to be a barista, and we would leave those canisters of milk out all day. If we didn't have customers using them, we wouldn't replace them.
Oh, well, there you go. I poured a block of cheese into my coffee. I was shitting blood. But my point is, I can't even remember what my point is. But I drew mud. I went to fart and I drew mud. It was unbelievable. Like I might as well have a diaper on and sucking on somebody's nip nap. It was fucking kind of fun, actually. It didn't touch my jeans. It looked like a used coffee filter. It was a big wet ring of poo-poo. Nothing solid there. Kind of a golden color. Kind of a golden's mustard. Anyways, Howard Schultz grew up in the fucking projects in Brooklyn. And is he not the American dream? Worked his way out of that to become a billionaire. Bernie, that's the sort of story that excites Americans. Not your horse shit, where we're all going to make the same and we're all going to live in mediocrity because nobody can have more than others. So you bringing that up is just fucking retarded. We're on the verge. There's enough idiots who have snuck into the country, ex-cons, all the people that the Democrats want to, uneducated college kids who can vote now. There's enough of them now where this idea might have a chance. But the Green New Deal, Ocasio-Cortez took a big dump on your plan. But Howard Schultz worked his way up. I actually admire the guy, and I hope he runs as an independent and sucks votes away whoever's running against Trump so he can walk. I don't even know that he's going to need the help with your silly 1960s hippie fucking Marxist ideas. But do you see how comfortable? Oh, there's like a jealousy there. Oh, there's another Jewish guy that did better than I did. I'm Jewish. I should be. I probably, and this is going to sound, I don't know, stereotypical. I like to know the percentage of billionaires in the country. Which ones are Jewish? I don't know. I'm just saying. Is Bezos Jewish? I don't know.
Sounds kind of Jewy.
Sounds kind of Jewy. We know Bill Gates isn't, and who the fuck else? I don't know. The guy that invented the Thigh Master.
George Soros?
George Soros invented the thigh. George Soros is a Jewish zillionaire. Good point, Jason.
An analysis in 2012 came up with 35% of Forbes 400 are Jewish.
Oh, that sort of goes against my theory, doesn't it? That means 65 are not. They're blowing Jewish guys. They're women. What? Why would you say such a nasty? Oh, fuck off, you crybaby motherfuckers. Bernie broke the news confirming another presidential bid early Tuesday on Vermont Public Radio. That's right, VPR. Saying in an interview that he promises to take the values that all of us in Vermont are proud of, all 7 of us. That's how great a state it is. It's 60 billion square miles. There's 7 people living there. That's how great a state it is. If you don't like maple syrup or covered bridges, stay the fuck out of Vermont. Or sheep who have their own rape crisis hotline. You like a little butt up? A belief in justice, in community, in grassroots politics, in town meetings. That's what I'm going to carry all over this country. If I'm not arrested for sexual harassment. Again, I know a few girls got touched, and early polls show him to be 107 years old, and he's far ahead of the rest of the pack, trailing only. This is good news for the Republicans. Fucking old plugs, Vice President Joe Biden in the 2020 field. 3 years ago during our 2016 campaign, when we brought forth our progressive agenda, we were told our ideas were radical and extreme. Sanders sent an email. These policies and more are now supported by a majority of Americans who have an IQ of 11. A lot of them are black and brown people who aren't allowed to vote. They got here 10 minutes ago. A lot of them are college students who majored in basket weaving and the liberal arts, and they don't know better. Sanders is going to come under more scrutiny than ever before, says the douchebag who wrote the article, from both the press and political rivals, including from sexual harassment allegations in 2016. Sanders now faces stiff competition from a wide array of candidates for his core supporters of progressives and young people. Even some of Sanders' former staffers have already signed on with other candidates. What does that tell you? And some Democrats remain bitter about 2016, accusing Bernie and his followers of damaging the thick-ankled, dog-faced, leathery nipple whore Hillary Clinton in ways that contributed to her defeat against Donald Trump. And they're still crying about that. Can you imagine? They're still upset, Hillary's fans, when we have proof that it was rigged against Bernie. Right? Ryan?
Makes me so angry.
Can you imagine? It was proved it was rigged. How? Well, Donna Brazile had the debate questions, who was working for CNN at the time. All the usual suspects. Yet they're still bitter. Boy, my face looks fat today. I worked out real hard. My eyes are red, and I look like I'm in my late hundreds. For Christ's sake. You know what happens? I'll explain it to you. And I read this in an article. Some actor was there. You don't, when you work out and get dehydrated, if you're going to go on camera, do not even take a sip of water because your face holds it like a sponge. Well, I drank 2 cans of A&W root beer and a Gatorade. That's why I look like Kim Jong-un right now. If I could get that haircut tomorrow, I wouldn't. Ding it out, Miss Aganyao. Trump campaign spokesman Kayleigh McEnany. Have you seen her? She looks like a supermodel. Labeled Sanders' past policy proposals as socialism. She said Bernie Sanders has already won the debate in the Democrat primary because every candidate is embracing his brand of socialism. But the American people will stick it up his old wrinkled ass. What? She said that? I can't. She said the American people will reject an agenda of sky-high taxes, government-run healthcare, and coddling dictators like those in Venezuela. I love that Venezuela is in the backdrop of all this announcement. Any Republican just go, is this what you want? Cut to 2 kids chewing on a llama's leg in a zoo. You are motherless fucks. Sanders 2020 will likely focus on more racial and gender inequality because we haven't heard about that in 3 seconds in this country. Oh, my God. You know, women who have vaginas and dicks don't get the same prices when they go to Target. Stick it up my fucking ass. Well, dip me in liquid shit. I think the current occupant of the White House is an embarrassment to our country, he said. I think he's a pet. We already know what he said. You know what, Bernie? Your sister's buttocks. Sanders is also expected to focus more on his personal history. Yeah, do that. Well, I slept on my parents' couch until I was 51. Then I got a real job at the Sunoco station in Burlington. And I don't care for black people. That's why I'm from Brooklyn. I moved up here to the whitest state in the union. And anyways, you focus on that, Bernie. Good luck to you. I wonder how AOC feels about that. That's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. United States, that's United States, U.S. states, not the United States. Some states that make up the U.S. sue Trump administration in showdown over border wall funds. That's all they do is sue.
Counselor? Counselor?
A coalition of twats of 16 U.S. states led by, the shitty, stupid state of California sued President Trump and top members of his administration on Monday to cockblock his decision to declare a national emergency to obtain funds for building a wall along the U.S.-Mexican border.
Counselor? Counselor?
The lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. You won't find more retarded people than the Northern District of California, the only club where I was fired because I was smoking on stage. And then I threatened to beat up the fucking owner and his wife, and they had me fucking canned. Came after Trump invoked emergency powers on Friday to help build the wall. That was his signature 2016 campaign. 833-599-6425. Come on, call in, you liberals. Trump's order would allow him to spend on the wall money that Congress appropriated for other purposes. You know, like a slush fund for when they get caught finger popping their interns. Congress declined to fulfill his request of $5.7 billion to help build the wall. Today, on President's Day, we take President Trump to court to block his misuse of presidential power, said California Attorney General Xavier Becerra, who's been in the country 11 minutes and who uses Spanglish at home. He said in his statement, "We're suing President Trump to stop him from unilaterally robbing taxpayer funds lawfully set aside by Congress for the people of our states." To do what? What are you going to do with those funds? Buy shovels to take the fucking excrement off the sidewalks of San Francisco? What are you going to do with those funds? You know, if I'm Trump, seriously, right now, I go, fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Deal's off. I'm not building a wall. I'm not building a wall. I'm going to watch viral videos of when your daughters are being raped by fucking people cleaning your pool. And not that all of them bad. Again, I'm a big fan. I like the fucking Mexicans. The Central Americans I have no use for. Nick, that's horrible. I had a summer home in Nicaragua. It burned down to the ground. I was there 8 minutes. Anyways, yeah, they're suing Trump. So he, apparently these taxpayer funds were set aside by Congress for the people of Son of a whore! In a budget deal passed by Congress to avert a second government shutdown, nearly $1.4 billion was allocated toward border fencing. They can't even say wall now. Oh, my God. Trump's emergency order would give him an additional $6.7 billion beyond what lawmakers authorized. 3 Texas landowners, and by the way, I agree with the people, the experts on TV who, on the right who were saying Trump didn't have to do this national emergency and make a big deal of it. He could have grabbed funds from elsewhere. 3 Texas landowners and an environmental group filed the first lawsuit against Trump on Friday, saying it violated the Constitution and would infringe on their property rights. So another lawsuit.
Counselor?
Here are the states, and again, the usual suspects. Colorado, blue. Connecticut, bluer than my balls. Delaware, blue. Hawaii, which is more liberal than fucking Massachusetts. Illinois, Maine, Maryland. What do they all have in common? Liberal. Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, which is a socialist state, and Virginia, which used to be red, even with their blackface fucking governor and all the racists. In Michigan, all as liberal as you can get. The state said Trump's order would cause them to lose millions of dollars in federal funding for National Guard units dealing with counter-drug activities. But you wouldn't have to use National Guards to deal with counter-drug activities if you stopped it, if you nipped it in the bud. Do you get that? Or don't you, you cheese eaters? You fucking ass lappers. And redirection of funds from authorized military construction projects would damage their economy, this guy says. And
don't give me that smart alecky shit.
Becerra said the lawsuit would use Trump's own words against him as evidence that there was no national emergency. At least those words would be in English. Trump said on Friday he did not need to make the emergency declaration, but wanted to speed the process of building the wall. That comment could undercut the government's legal argument, unless you take the Constitution into, consideration, where the president, when he thinks we're being threatened by a foreign anything, he can do whatever he wants, basically.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth.
Let's go to Peter. Peter, what's going on? Welcome to the show. How do you feel about the whole lawsuit, my friend?
Hey, Nick, I'm doing well. As far as the lawsuit's concerned, what Trump did was actually pretty smart with the sequence of how he appropriated the funds. He got a 1.3 billion from the Congress, and then he got 600 million from civil asset forfeitures, and then he also got a defense spending for the Army engineers, the Corps of Army Engineers.
Yeah.
So basically, the states that are taking him to court
Yes.
are basically, as it's being drawn out, he's already funded what needs to be built. So it's basically a moot point by the time he's being reelected.
Well, that was actually well said, Peter. And isn't there one provision in this bill that's the sticking point? The one that actually mentions using the military or something?
I'm not quite certain on that, but one of the biggest stick in the muds with that bill was 224A about the unaccompanied minors. Basically, if they come with anyone, as long as they're an adult, it doesn't use. But they are saying it has to be more strict on proving that there's an actual relationship between the child and the guardian.
What if it's incestuous?
Then I guess we're all fucked.
Hey, Pete, great call, man. That was well said. I appreciate you weighing in on the situation. Buddy Pat in Saratoga. Pat, Bernie Sanders, is he just an old crazy Jew, or he's got a little legitimate shot?
Well, I don't want to start sounding like Kevin from Chicago, but yeah, pretty much he is. He is old and crazy. I just wanted to say that I'm a huge Ron Paul fan. And years ago, he was on Chris Matthews' show, and they misrepresented something Dr. Paul said in regards to cutting Medicare and Medicaid and how it raised medical prices. And Bernie said that's what these people believe. Bernie has no clue about economics. He got a C in college. Dr. Paul was an OBGYN that started reading Austrian economics.
That's enough for me. That's enough for me. Dr. Paul was into pussy. He's got my vote.
Oh, absolutely. He knows how to stare a pussy right in the face, which is why he'd be great. He'd be great debating Bernie Sanders, but Bernie won't debate him face to face because he is a chicken shit. He won't even debate his son. So
hey, Pat,
I just wanted to say.
Let me ask you, what happened to Ron Paul? I mean, because I always agree with most of his stuff, except he seemed a little, on foreign policy, he seemed a little naive to me with his sort of isolationist views. Is that why we don't hear from him anymore? Or did you just say, these people are too fucking dumb, I'm going to go look at pussies?
No, actually, he retired from it all. He started the Ron Paul Institute. I think he does a podcast every day. And yeah, he retired from being a congressman. He's got his following, me included. I do like his foreign policy. But he pretty much, he retired and, he's off and doing his own thing now. But his son Rand still, I think, fights the good fight here.
I agree.
Here and there. I'm happy the guy ran. He kind of paved the way for Trump a little bit, even though Trump doesn't stick to everything. But I'll tell you who probably could explain it better than me is Kat Timpf, who I know was on your Sirius show. And boy, if she was on video at your current show, I surely would not mind that either.
I know. Kat is she's a real libertarian and very smart, and we should work on that one. Get Kat to Skype in, actually. Hey, Pat, great call. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And, yeah. I like Rand Paul. And what I liked about, I think Ron Paul wanted to go after the Fed, didn't he? He said there's no reason to have the Federal Reserve. I think that was his first move. Might be his son, I'm confusing. They want to audit the Fed, which, oh, boy, takes big balls, as they say. Jake Bender wants to suggest some wall alternatives. Jake, what are those alternatives?
Well, I was thinking if he just goes on the news and says, you know what, fuck the wall, fuck you, and fuck this place, I'm letting everyone in. We're not even going to check. Yeah, we just tear down the guard shacks, take those arms out of the roads.
Yeah, I know.
See how that goes.
I know. A little part of me would love to see that. Do you know how I'm going to show?
Texas will kill them all, and everyone else will get overrun.
Yeah, and they would. The whole world's trying to come here, for Christ's sake. I would love Trump to say, okay, fuck it. You know, we're opening. You know what? Even the ports of entry, tear those down. Watch what happens. And honest to God, if I can, you know, I think you're right on with that. Thank you, Jake. Because, you know, walls, they're immoral. Excuse me. Cigarettes. Walls are immoral. Walls are bad, even though everybody's house is made of walls. Let me show you the king of walls are bad. This fucking guy, I didn't realize what a moron Beto O'Rourke was, you know. This is who the left got excited about for 5 minutes. But this is him and all his stupidum right here. Watch this clip of Dingbat.
We know that walls do not save lives. Walls end lives.
You're fucking crazy.
Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
Walls end lives if you're a gay person in Saudi Arabia, and I'm not making this up. That's how they literally kill gay people. They'll knock a stone wall or a brick wall down on top again. That was one of their things. You can fucking Google that. Walls end lives. Yeah, if you're drunk and you run into one in your car, Beto, you fuck stain. I should have showed that other clip where he says he'd take down the wall between El Paso and fucking Juarez, you know, with a murder rate. They had about 1,100 last year. And he goes, you guys, it's a mental illness. I used to laugh at people who said that. You're mentally ill. You lefties are so hung up on race and ethnicity. You're fucking mentally ill. But I would love for him to tear that wall down in El Paso. The fact that he just said that. But again, we hear from him. We don't hear from the people that live in that town. They would agree with him, obviously, because he's obviously a player in that town, and they voted for him. So they're retarded, mentally retarded. I like walls. I love borders. My favorite thing in life, and I'll say it again, I said it on one of my albums, is when you're at the supermarket and you put your groceries down on the thing, and you take that rubber thing and you put it behind your groceries that divides you from the fucking jerk off with his peanut M&Ms and his fucking Wonder Bread. And it just, doesn't it take all the guesswork out of it? This is my pizza, frozen pizza. That's your fucking Stouffer's fucking fish tacos. That rubber thing, that's how the world should work. I would love to have one of those when I sit on a plane next to some jerk off next to me who wants to talk, and you just slam that thing down. It's the best borders ever, in my opinion. But a part of me would really like to see that. Just fucking, you know what, Trump, just to prove how stupid you people are, we're going to tear down those walls and watch the crime rate go through the roof. I can't believe these arguments still get traction. We're the only superpower on the planet we have been for the last I don't know how many years. Yet idiots on the left hate this country so much, they have to point to other places. And there's not one that they can point to. People are trying to sneak in here for a reason, of all races, by the way, because it's the best form of government ever created. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be a success, but you are guaranteed an opportunity. Oh, I can hear the fucking minority screaming right now, and the transgender, and the three-titted man who thinks he's Diane, just fucking howling in the wind. Ryan, your thoughts? No, I'm just kidding. Walls end lives. If I was, I would play that clip over and over again and have the angel mom sitting right there. Walls end lives. This is me tearing down a wall. Do you think Beto O'Rourke lives in a predominantly Latino neighbor. No, he just bought a $3 million house, and it looked like a predominantly white suburb. I might be wrong, but he sure ain't living amongst the people. You think Nancy Pelosi would live in a 2-bedroom apartment in the Tenderloin district of San Francisco? No, she's in her castle, surrounded by fucking walls. You're the biggest hypocrites. Everybody knows it. You're full of shit. You always have been. And Trump is going to walk in 2020. It's going to be like a hole that the Patriots line opened up for Sony Michel. Off tackle, 62 yards. Let's lighten it up a bit. This is something Ryan can relate to. A Florida man has admitted recording himself performing sex acts on his Siberian Husky, get this, while wearing a dog costume, and posting the revolting footage online. I don't understand why he's fucking his dog. Look at him. He's like a fucking supermodel. He's got the ISIS beard. Is that a chin strap? What is that? Did he just go down on a fat woman with red pubes while he had a sticky neck? What in Christ's creation? Nice head of hair. Good looking kid. Doesn't want to spend the money on margaritas. He's buying milk bones and just fucking going crazy on a Saturday night. I mean, what's wrong with that? Christian Stewart Oscar Nichols. Is that his whole name? Sounds like an actor, not a dog fucker. Like there's any difference. 21 years old of Oldsmar is facing charges of aggravated animal cruelty. How do you know the animals are aggravated? Somebody. And 10 counts of prohibition of certain acts in connection with obscene materials after his arrest on Monday. An investigation was launched on January 25th after an out-of-state resident contacted officials from the Pinellas County Animal Services. Florida is the creepiest fucking state. To report the existence of video and photographs online depicting a man having sexual contact with his dog. What did you do? Swipe your paw right? How do you... Detectives from the sheriff's office later obtained copies of the video and photographs and masturbated to him. What? What kind of... which depicted a man dressed in a black and white Siberian Husky costume. You know how much those cost? I priced one of those for Halloween a couple of years ago. Listen to this. Dressed like a black and white Siberian Husky costume, using his penis in sex toys. And sex toy during sex acts with animals. So... The dog later identified as Nichols' pet named Ember. That's a porn name, isn't it? Ember Ashes. Was clearly distressed during the video. And at one point looked into the camera and held up a note, "Help me." Tried to run away at one point. But the man responded by hitting the dog with a penis-shaped sex toy. Can you make this up? Can you make this? What is this, a fucking... Will Ferrell movie?
Worst kennel ever.
Huh?
Worst kennel ever.
You know, Fluffy came home with a concussion. He was beat over the head with a fucking 12-inch black cock. Investigators were able to trace the video and photographs back to Hugh Grant. No. Back to Nichols, who admitted to detectives at his residence that he made the footage with his... He didn't even have to admit to it. His dog sitting on the couch wearing bikini briefs, bleeding from the asshole, and the detectives connected the dots. But he admitted to the footage before posting it on the internet. A second dog was also removed from Nichols' home, but the dog didn't go peacefully. Maybe he enjoyed it. Pinellas County Sergeant Spencer Gross, great name for the story, said Nichols admitted to sharing the video on a message app called Telegram. Oh, I used to fuck a rabbit on Telegram. Nobody said boo. Mr. Nichols was in a few different chat rooms with other who had interest in zoo sadism, and zoophilia. I dated a girl named Zoophilia. She was from the Bronx. And Gross told the Tampa Times, citing psychological disorders involving pleasure derived from cruelty to animals and sexual attraction to animals, respectively. A Chihuahua was also removed from Nichols' home. So, at least he wasn't a racist. He liked that Latina pussy up in there. Additional charges against Nichols. There's a lot more evidence, they said, combing through it, and could take at least another month to get through everything he's got. Gross said. Oh, the poor dogs. The poor dog. My goodness. All right, take it down already. What are you, falling in love with this fat fuck? Should be taken out and shot in front of his kittens. In a related story, they found his neighbor with a cock in his parakeet's mouth. We throw it out to Bill and a cockatoo.
La 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 la.
Hashtag me. Hey, I saw this story yesterday on the news. Somebody spraying it hashtag me too on that iconic statue of the World War II sailor kissing the woman. Remember? And I said to my wife, I go, that's a hashtag me too thing today. That's what my exact what is the headline today? Somebody spray painted that on the iconic statue because we're living in horrible times.
Raping me! This is rape! This is rape! This is rape!
A statue in Florida depicting the iconic photos of a sailor finger popping a dental assistant at the end of World War II is tagged with the words hashtag me too. Sarasota police said in a new release that an officer found the phrase painted in red on the left leg of the woman in the unconditional surrender statue in Sarasota early Tuesday. The paint covered the length of the nurse's leg. We have the photos up there. From here, it looks like some type of Japanese writing. Looks like the ingredients for a spider roll. Can you imagine? Seriously, does that sum it up? That guy just got back from saving the world and, a reflex reaction, grabs a stranger and kisses her. She didn't have a problem with it. But today, these cunts, these modern day feminist cunts, and the men who pretend to be feminists do something like this to the statue. The guy just saved the world from tyranny, risked his neck, and this is what they see. What does that say about today's world? It's being run by gobblers of goo. Police said officers didn't find any spray paint bottles in the area and no other objects were defaced. There was no available surveillance video in the area that captured the incident. There are known witnesses. It's believed the incident occurred on Monday, February 18th, when Ryan was missing from the show and had taken a flight between the mid-afternoon and evening hours. They don't know the time exactly. Police said the damage to the statue is estimated at about $1,000. And then they removed the graffiti on Tuesday, which I'm sure is going to upset a bunch of women with 5 o'clock shadows and guns. The graffiti was printed a day after the sailor shown in the iconic New York Times Square photo died at the age of 95. Nice way to pay tribute to a great moment in America. Nice way. PC leftist gobblers of goo. George Mendoza, that was the guy depicted in the statue. He was 2 days short of his 96th birthday and was hit by a fucking Antifa, a bike lock. No, he died at an assisted facility in Middletown, Rhode Island on Sunday. God bless you, George. He lived at the facility with his wife for 70 years. They think that's what killed him. The woman in the iconic photo, Greta Zimmer Friedman, was a dental assistant on August 14th, 1945. What's scary is she cleaned my teeth a couple days ago. She fucking drilled through my eyebrows. The day the Japanese surrendered to the U.S., ending World War II, the day known as VJ Day. People spilled into the streets of New York City to celebrate the news. This is Mendoza talking, the guy. I saw what those nurses did that day when we had the wounded on my ship, and we put the wounded on the hospital ship, Mendoza said. And, of course, I saw what those nurses did that day. And now back in Times Square, the war ends, a few drinks, so I grabbed the nurse. Which is just, back then, it's fine. And in my opinion, it still should be fine. In 2005 interview with the Veterans History Project, Miss Friedman said that wasn't her choice to be kissed. Oh, she's starting to sound like a feminist. I'm glad she's dead. Is she dead? If she's not, let's take her hang gliding tomorrow. The guy just came over and kissed or grabbed, she said. Oh, she sounds like she's fucking not happy. She's been influenced by the... God, I hope not.
She died in 2016.
She did? She died in 2016 when another guy grabbed her and tried to reenact the picture and snapped her back like a fucking breadstick. I felt he was very strong. He was just holding me tight. I'm not sure about the kisses because, you know, it was just somebody really celebrating, she said. But when he put his thumb in my asshole, that's where I drew the line. He was just giving a thumbs up, I'm pretty sure. So I let it slide. But it wasn't a romantic event. It was just an event of thank God the war is over, kind of the thing, because it was right in front of the sign. The photo by Alfred Einstadt was first published in Dachau in Life magazine and is called VJ Day in Times Square. Of course, the kids today are calling it VD Day. It is also known as the kiss or the finger pop or the elbow roll. Anyways, it became one of the most famous photographs of the 20th century. The only thing more famous, they say, is Larry Bird choking Dr. J.
La 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 la.
The Tin Man wanted a heart and the Lion wanted courage. What did the Straw Man want?
He wanted the Tin Man to notice him.
In ancient times, it was illegal to park your chariot in certain places in the biblical city of Nineveh. What was the penalty if you did so?
They let all the air out of your horse.
Why was Daniel thrown to the den of lions?
For jaywalking in Jerusalem.
When the citizens of China want a drink of water, they always do something to it first. What?
Remove the shirts.
That's racist. Oh my God, this show is out of control. Yeah. Here we go. A man from Tennessee is accused of pulling a gun on a couple wearing a Make America Great Again caps in Sam's Club store. Could you get a more southern story? Police said James Phillips, 57, donned a veteran's hat Saturday in Bowling Green, Kentucky, right after he got done finger popping his cousin, June, when he got involved in a heated exchange over the other customer's MAGA hats. Another lefty piece of garbage. Another tolerant leftist. The police report stated Phillips admitted flipping off a couple inside the wholesale store because of the red baseball caps. The other customer, identified as Terry Price, then confronted Phillips, who brandished a firearm, authorities said. Can you fucking believe this psycho?
You've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it.
He stuck at my face, backed up and said, "It's a good day for you to die."
Don't you move, you motherfucker. I'll blow your brains out.
Phillips allegedly left the store, but the couple followed him to the parking lot where their argument continued. Police said witnesses corroborated Pierce's claims that Phillips did pull a gun on him. Phillips was arrested on first-degree wanton endangerment charge and booked at Warren County Regional Jail. Tomorrow he'll be flown to that guy's house who fucked his dog in Florida, and well, they'll live happily ever after. Look at him. He seems like a nice guy. Look at him. How can you be that inbred? Your eyes are almost together. Look at his nose. It's been busted a couple times. So obviously he's a jerk off. And he's got the hair of fucking, Bernie Sanders in high school. And, a couple of MAGA hats sent him off the rail. What does that tell you?
Those ears, though.
I know, those fucking ears. Ryan, you'd love to grab those, wouldn't you?
Right from behind.
From behind? What are you, fucking his neck? What? Oh, from behind his ears.
You know, like handlebars.
Yes, I do. Yes, I really do.
Let's stay in the South, shall we?
Wake up, white people.
The editor of a small town in Alabama newspaper has published an editorial calling for the return of the Ku Klux Klan to rid Washington, D.C. of the Democrats and Republicans he says are plotting to raise taxes in his home state.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
I sort of agree with him. I don't agree with how he's executing it. I don't think you need the Klan, but yeah, I would these people need to be threatened. Time for the Ku Klux Klan to night ride again. Listen to how he talks so fluidly about the Klan. You can tell half his family was in it. For Goodloe Sutton, who runs the Democrat Reporter in Linden, wrote last Thursday, Democrats in the Republican Party and Democrats are plotting to raise taxes in Alabama. Democrats do not understand how to eliminate expenses when money is needed in other areas. This socialist communist ideology sounds good to the ignorant, the uneducated, and the simple-minded people. That would be the Democrat Party. People who do not understand the Constitution do not like to be responsible. Slaves, listen, this is where you can tell he's a real fucking... Slaves just freed after the Civil War were not stupid. At times, they borrowed their former master's robes and horses and rode through the night to frighten some evildoers. Sometimes they had to kill one or two of them, but so what? This is a publisher of an actual paper. He ended the piece by saying that it seems like the Klan would be welcome to raid the gated communities up there. They call them compounds now. Truly, they are the ruling class. Well, that he got right.
You are correct, sir.
But you got to bring the Klan into it? Come on. Michael Cohen probably knows a few guys. Sutton, who has worked at the Democrat Reporter since '64, suggested lynching. So he's a big fan of Jussie Smollett. We'll get the hemp ropes out. That's good. You get a buzz while you're being... loop them over a tall limb and hang all of them. Sutton defended himself by insisting he was not calling for the lynchings of Americans. These are socialist communists we're talking about. This is a publisher, an editor of a newspaper. Oh, my God. When asked if he recognized the KKK as racist violent group, Sutton compared the Klan to the NAACP, a violent organization. Well, they didn't kill but a few people, he told the advertiser. The Klan wasn't violent until they needed to be. Yeah, same with the Nazis. They really didn't, until you got their dander up. They were pretty nice guys, I guess. U.S. Senator Doug Jones, Democrat Alabama, and U.S. Rep. Terry Sewell, Democrat Alabama, both called on Sutton to resign, even though those two representatives represent the Democrat Party, which brought us the Klan. So I don't know what you're so upset about. You are the party of racism. Don't be hypocrites, you lying, titless wonders. I agree with what he's saying, not with the lynching and the Klan and all that shit, but somebody should really climb over these gated communities, go to D.C., and really scare the shit out of the swamp. Really. I mean, Trump has done a good job, but now it's time to... Right after the Scalise shooting, somebody should have picked up a weapon. Who, you, Goldberg? You fucking people. You have no idea how to run a country. I'll take a call here. Brian from Long Island. Feminist shit said to his 3-year-old son. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. What exactly was said to your 3-year-old?
Yeah, I thought of you immediately.
Go ahead.
So I went into Dunkin' Donuts over the weekend. I take my son every weekend just to get a donut. I get coffee. We pull up, and they got this Girl Scout table at the front. I'm like, ah, shit. So I didn't want to be a cheap fuck and drive out because I just figured I'll do the right thing. We'll buy cookies. He'll see, what it's like to help other kids. So I go up to the table. We buy one box, and I force my son to say thank you. Please, I don't want to treat him manners.
Yeah.
And this freaking twat's own mother goes to him, wow, you're learning to treat girls nice and respect them early. I like that.
Oh.
And I shot her a look, and I almost flipped the fuck out, but I didn't want to do it in front of my kid. Can you imagine?
They can't leave it alone,
it's
Brian.
Unbelievable.
They can't leave it alone. They can't leave it alone for a second. This victim mentality it's the cancer, and it comes from the left, And again, I've said there's no more insidious movement than the feminist movement. They are a cancer that needs to be removed. You should have opened those cookies and started fucking winging them at her face.
Honestly, if I wasn't with my son, I would have. And then when I came home, I told my wife, and my wife is a union teacher, so she's not exactly the most right-wing.
Right,
She was going to go up there and put that on him. Unbelievable.
I'm as mad as
But I
hell,
thought of you
and
immediately.
I'm
I'm
not
like,
gonna
holy
take
shit,
this
this is
anymore.
what Nick's been talking about.
Oh, yeah. They can't. Thanks for the call. Great story, Brian. They can't help themselves. They can't leave it alone. And this whole war on all this nonsense. And then you watch clips from the Middle East where women are stoned to death for allegedly. Some of them are put in prison for being raped. They're the ones that go to prison. And they throw acid in little girls' faces who want to go to school. But there's a war on women in this country. And I'll say, no women on the planet are more spoiled than American women. You have access to more guys with money. All we try to do is take you out for drinks and try to fuck you for the last 50 years and you're second-class citizens. Anyways, can you imagine him? She couldn't leave it alone. Oh, good to see you trying respecting. Although I do remember knocking out a Girl Scout and taking her Thin Mints. But my dad told me to. He said it was the right thing to do. Paul?
Henry Kissinger recently was quoted as saying, "They aren't even sexy." What was he referring to?
The Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Fun with audio. Hey, finally tonight on Meet the Press. You guys know who Lara Logan is? She worked for 60 Minutes. She's a CBS reporter for years. A really good. She looks like a supermodel. I mean, extremely good looking. South African. She has that accent. She's a foreign correspondent of 60 Minutes, and you guys might have remembered. Anyways, in other words, 60 Minutes CBS, left wing. She recently did a podcast. It was on Breitbart. A retired Navy SEAL, Mike Ritlin, has a podcast, and God bless him for his service. He interviewed her, and she came out and said Breitbart News offers the other side of news media relative to what she described as a mostly left-wing and partisan Democrat news landscape in the U.S. and abroad. Ritlin characterized U.S. news media as absurdly left-leaning and supportive of Democrats, further describing the status quo of American news media's left-wing and partisan Democrat biases as a huge fucking problem and disaster for his country. Logan concurred. I agree with that. That's true. Here's video of Lara Logan.
And the media everywhere is mostly liberal, not just in the U.S. But in this country, 85% of journalists are registered Democrats. So that's just a fact.
88, actually.
Right? No one's registering Democrat when they're rarely a Republican. So the facts are on the side of what you just stated. Most journalists are left or liberal or Democrat or whatever word you want to give it. How do you know you're being lied to? How do you know you're being manipulated? How do you know there's something not right with the coverage? When they simplify it all, and there's no gray. There's no gray. It's all one way. Well, life isn't like that. If it doesn't match real life...
Pause it for a second.
It's probably not.
And it's true. And I know, people make fun of Fox News. And the people that make fun of Fox News don't watch it since they say it's so idiotic and they say it's right-wing and it's slanted. But I do watch... I go through them all. But I watch Fox because they will have liberals on. I don't see that on CNN. I see Bill Maher have a retarded Republican congressman nobody's ever heard of from Ohio, or whatever. But on Fox News, and the idiots on the left can't even differentiate. Yeah, they're opinion shows. There's hard news with Brett Baer. I mean, even Colbert has him on. It's a hard news show. Then you have opinion shows like maybe Tucker or even Sean Hannity, who also has a lot of hard news. But the point is they'll have liberals on and show both sides of it. You don't fucking see that on CNN. They'll always have some retarded conservative, maybe once in a while. And it always says underneath conservative commentator in the lower third graphic. You never see liberal commentator, liberal author. You ever notice that? Ever? So she's exactly right. 93% negative coverage on Trump. There's no gray area there. She says, my experience has been that more opinions you have, the more ways that you look at everything in life. Everything in life is complicated. Everything is gray, right? Nothing is in black and white. She said, one ideological perspective on everything never leads to an open, free, diverse, tolerant society. The more opinions and views of everything that you have, the better off we all are. So creating one ideological position on everything throughout your universities, throughout academia, in school and in college and media and everywhere else, that's what concerns her. I don't have to agree with everybody. What she's most famous for, she actually brought up Fox News. This is the problem that I have. There's one, Fox, meaning that shows both sides, and there's many, many more organizations on the left. The problem is the weight of all these organizations on one side of the political spectrum. When you turn on your computer or you walk past the TV or you see a newspaper headline in the grocery store, if they're all saying the same thing, the weight of that convinces you that it's true. You don't question it because everyone is saying it. Unless you seek out Breitbart on your computer, you're probably not even going to know what the other side is saying. Now, at the end, she says, this is going to cost me my career. This is career suicide. Can you imagine that's the times we're living in? But this is coming from somebody who worked at 60 Minutes, CBS. It doesn't get any more left-wing. And there's been other people. What's her name? Jill Abramson? She was the former New York Times editor. Has a book coming out saying that they were totally anti-Trump and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just fucking outrageous. What she's most known for, after her great work, in February of 2011, she was sexually assaulted. She was actually raped. She says it in the nearly murdered by numerous men in Cairo, Egypt, while reporting on the ousting of then Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak. She shared some details of the attack's nature. Here you go.
Piece by piece, they tore all my clothing off and really tore my body almost to pieces and tore my insides apart.
What is there an element of consciousness that was lost at that point? I mean, were you?
Sadly, no.
I mean, you were.
No, in fact, I was conscious of everything, every little thing. I mean, I don't relive all of it. I guess there are kind of gaps in my memory. I don't really see them as gaps. It's just things that are not there in all the detail, but I still remember them happening. It was like I was living on two tracks the entire time. So one track is going really, really, really slowly, where you're conscious of every little thing and you're having a whole conversation with yourself and you're seeing things. I saw people taking pictures. I remember the one guy whose face I bit. I was conscious of the feeling of the air on my skin because the night air was kind of cool and I could feel that. I remember the sound of my bra strap snapping. I remember the sound of my necklace breaking. I remember fighting, being raped, and being able to sometimes push people away. And then I remember just realizing that there were too many of them, and that it was over and over and over and over again, and that there was always someone else. When you could fight one person, and there was always somebody else. And I felt no pain. I will tell you that. I felt.
But all cultures are equal. Remember that, folks. No one culture is superior to another. And what's unbelievable about that is they sort of kept it under wraps. That story's out there for a while, and they always just said sexual assault. It's the first time I ever heard her refer to actually being raped. And she was with somebody who called, somebody like her bodyguard called the Egyptian military, and some guys came after like 40 minutes to an hour. She was completely naked and came and were beating the guys with clubs and shit. And they dragged her off to the side to save her or whatever. But I was shocked at that because I had heard about the story, always heard referred to as sexual assault. But the big news there is her saying that you got to go to places like Breitbart, which, the left refers to as, alt-right, far-right, whatever. And I find that not to be true. And that doesn't surprise you, I'm sure. Anyways, that is it. Thank you, Patreon members. Again, go to nickdip.com and come out and see me live. And that's everything, right, fellas? I think that's about it. All right. Keep contributing. Keep telling. We signed up 10 new people last week or whatever, so it's still growing. It's word of mouth. And anyway, and if you're in the Cohoes area Saturday night, please come to the taping. Gonna pack that place out. That's it. You think it, I will say it. You're welcome. I will talk to most of you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.